Welcome back on Inside Tennessee. Eddie, you served a number of years in the legislature, in the House. Explain for our viewers who don't quite understand the difference between the House and the Senate, because they have different reputations.
They do. And when you think about it, the House is made up of 99 members. So it's a lot more, really it's 3 times as many opinions that are happening there. But also sometimes things that happen tend to overshadow some of the good that's happening. For instance, this past week on Thursday, Representative Jones refused to help lead the Pledge of Allegiance, as every member does that has a pastor there for Day on the Hill. He stood with his head bowed and papers in his hands. That's going to take more of the focus away from what's really happening, which is the great bills and the great legislation and work that's actually happening inside. But the Senate is a much more deliberative body, whereas the House, they have to run every 2 years. The House, the Senate, it's every 4. So just different mindsets that go into governing between the two bodies.
Similarly, at the federal level, Dennis, what's your take on the State House and the State Senate as different bodies?
Unfortunately, I am of the opinion that they could both do better. That's my opinion.
They could?
Yes.
What do you think would be the most important thing that they could do this session? Because we haven't heard from you this year.
Well, I think what they need to do, or should try to do, and I think Governor McNally touched on it, we are second in the country on overdoses and deaths from drugs. We're doing something wrong. I'm not saying I have the cure for that, but something needs to change, and it needs to change tomorrow, not 6 months from now or 6 years from now. I mean, we spend a lot of money on things that are not necessary, like football coaches, and paying people who haven't worked here in years big money. Why don't we give more money to David Roush and the TBI and whoever else needs it to combat crime, whether it be street crime or whatever?
John, only about 30 seconds. What should we watch for in the coming weeks in this session?
Well, first of all, yeah, we've already saw this, what Eddie's talking about, civility and, again, tension in the House. Randy says, you know, we're a lot more chill and maybe a little bit more mature in the Senate. You would like to see that, unlike last year in the House, they do get along a little bit better. I'm not worried so much about the Senate. It will be interesting to see how true legislation begins to come together in a legitimate way. We will see.
And, you know, to end, John, the best advice I was ever given is a politician thinks about the next election and a statesman thinks about the next generation. We need a lot more statesmen.
That's for sure.
Eddie, appreciate that, and thank you for watching Inside Tennessee. See you here next week.